Hello everyone, welcome back. Spring is officially in the studio and I'm so excited to let you know that the spring palettes are now ready to ship. There are so many beautiful surprises. This seasonal colors are here and they're inspired by fresh blooms, soft light, and the feeling of creative renewal that comes along with these days of long-lasting light, brighter skies, and I cannot wait to paint with them for you. They're so pretty. Now, the Spring Pastel palette has two palettes. This is the first one, and it includes Butter, Blue Lobelia, Ballerina, and Peonies. The other ones are coming up in new videos as we move through this month. So if you're excited about this one, wait until you see them all. So I'm going to be painting a version of this beautiful sample that comes in the kit. You also get the line drawing for this kit as well, just to give you some ideas about the shapes of flowers. Now, of course, you can paint roses with this kit. You can paint tulips with this kit. There's so many beautiful options because there's a warm pink, kind of like a peachy tone, and there is a peony, beautiful bright pink, all in pastels though, and a gorgeous yellow and a lovely, lovely blue. And then of course, if you want a green, you can just mix the yellow and the blue together. You can mix all of these colors together. There is a titanium base, so they are more opaque to use, but they are pure pigment and there are no fillers. So you will have such a beautiful time getting these really soft kind of palette mixes on your watercolor paintings. Now, whether you use just the palette alone or you start adding some other colors, just sky's the limit. I would say I'll probably start with videos just painting with the palette, but then I'll start mixing it in and adding this palette as an overlay to bring light back into a lot of my paintings. And that's just because me personally, I love to paint a little darker. However, I love what I painted here. And I put it up for sale in my watercolor store at Jack's Watercolor because I just was so excited about it and I love how it looked. I also noticed that these particular colors did go on very creamy and smooth and were very easy to get a nice amount of expression on the first brush stroke. So what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of laying down what I feel would be the basics for the shape to just kind of like get some marks in of where I want to put the flowers and which ones I'd like to be more yellow tones and which I would like to be more pink. We're going to be building and subtracting a little bit as we go along, because they will only go so dark, right? You want to keep that pastel thing going, but you also want to play with the light so that you can kind of reflect more. And that will happen between using backgrounds. You could use a lot of the background kind of color to show where the flower edges begin and when they end, or you can dilute some of the edges out to soften them. You can also go back and start layering the color. So you could go really, really light at first, and then you can go back and enhance with a little bit more color or even a mix of the tones to give you something that's more of a variety. So there's a lot of things you can do, and I want to encourage you to play with them like this. As you can tell, I easily mixed the yellow and the blue and made a really beautiful soft green. Now, I think this palette looks great two ways. I think it looks wonderful on just a plain white background. So the texture of the paper showing through, and then just use transparency. I think that looks really lovely. And I also toyed with adding some background of green and blues. And I wanted to see how it looked because I wanted to see if it made the flowers stand out even more. And maybe I could enhance the shape of the flowers that way by doing a little negative painting. Just looking at it here, you kind of get a feel for what it looks like if you were to leave the background plain. And just what's up ahead, if you keep watching, you'll see what it looks like if we colored in the background and then use the green again to enhance where the tulip leaves are going to be. Either way, I think it looks really beautiful, and it was really fun to paint. I found it easy to paint, I think, because there is a little bit more opaqueness, and maybe because they're just automatically so soft that you don't have to worry about going too dark. It's more of start light, and then it's not limiting, but I would say it kind of makes the decision for you. Instead of having like a million different weights to go with, there's pretty much just the light and then the color. And I think that kind of simplifies your palette for some reason. It just makes the whole thing a lot easier. But I enjoyed it. So now don't forget that if you are not taping your 100% cotton watercolor paper down, which does come in this kit, you would want to flip it over and spray the back. And that will give you the flattening effect, because if it's wet on both sides, then it will automatically flatten. It won't just pull the watercolor to the shrinkage side. So now it's time to just kind of fill in that background, and I'm trying to be careful to not touch any of the wet areas in the flowers unless I want them to bloom out. So if you want that softer look on the side of a flower, then this is a good time to, just ever so slightly hit the side of the flower or the leaves, because it will bloom out. And then once it dries, you can decide if you want to put back in the shape or if you want to keep it like that. But that's pretty much how you get that effect when you're painting. And I'm mixing in a little bit of the blue, a little bit of what I had left in the green, and just kind of going through and just kind of giving some shape through negative painting. I was toying with doing some light shades of the color and darker shades of the color, and ultimately I kind of liked this like mottled effect. I wanted to see how it would look, so that way the color didn't look like too even, like an even wash. I wanted it to kind of be more loose in the background, just like it was with the flowers. So now we're back at regular time, and I'm taking the very tip of my brush, and after the tulips are dry, I'm dipping right into this beautiful dreamy honey watercolor formula and taking that really nice color and almost dry brushing it onto the tulip areas to enhance some of the tulips and make those petals stand out. In some places, I'm starting at the edge, the outer edge of the tulip, and I'm working my way in. Some areas, I'm just looking for a little dry brush suggestion. And I think that with loose watercolors, when you go back in and you do this style, it's good to do like less is more. And then maybe brush some away or smear some with your finger, because you don't want it to be like an actual brush stroke. You want it to more be a mark. Does that make sense? So whether you do a large brush, a small brush, that is your choice. If you like certain like goat hair brushes because they're more textured, any way you do it, just try to make it more mark making than a full stroke. Because if it's a stroke from start to finish, it's gonna look not as loose and relaxed. So like that flower in the center, that's like the perfect idea, right? Because it's not exactly a stroke, it's more mark making, and that enhances the shape of the petals. I love tulips too. They symbolize the perfect love, the renewal, the fresh beginnings, everything that spring has to offer. I always know that this time of year, if I see those little flowers starting to pop through the ground, then we are home free. We are about to change season, and our long winter is ending, and I'm about ready to just get in full bloom and just start painting flowers like crazy. That's quite the beauty of nature, isn't it? I mean, I feel like this time of year it starts to rain and it snows and then it rains again, and the temperatures are up and down, but I think it's all part of the plan, right? It's like the quiet strength behind the bloom. So the more dramatic this turn of the season is, the bigger the blooms and the brighter the colors grow and the deeper the sense of these beautiful flowers have. So let's paint them. Let's go through spring and take these lovely palettes that I've created and just let them radiate the light and all of the beauty that nature has ahead of us. So that's pretty much where we are with this palette. I'm mixing a little bit more green now by just taking it right out of the honey pot. Now, I dipped my yellow into my blue, and I know I always tell you not to do that, but I intend on using that at the end here. So I know I'm going to be cleaning that out. Now, by waiting for the background to dry and going back and just giving it a little more shot of that green, you can see how lovely it pops forward, right? And how, because I went and added more green after I painted the background, it gives it a very soft look because I'm actually going over a little bit of the blue. Also notice that there's no line. So one thing great about these slightly more opaque colors is that you get that division and that coverage without too much color. And it really does make you think about how to use color to reflect the light. So I'm taking the ballerina pink and I'm mixing that in with the yellow, and I'm using that as my outline color on the yellow to make it stand out more. It's just a little tiny touch, but you can see it's starting to give a little more shadowing and shape to the yellow tulips. Now, of course, when you're up close, you can kind of see the yellow and the white together, but it's more difficult for sure on the yellow because it is so bright and it is so filled with light. So adding a little bit of that peachy tone really does help. But if you want to add blue to it and use the green color as your shadow, by all means, experiment away. You can even mix the more blue pink with the yellow and get a little more pop of color too. So there are a lot of little options, but it's all in the subtle details with this. It's something that probably you've never tried before. I think you're going to enjoy it with a lot of warmth and a lot of enthusiasm, and I think you're going to see that joyful energy come through in your paintings because it's just something very different. And I wanted you to have that experience. So now as you paint with this palette, I hope that you will really enjoy yourself and I hope you'll share. So come on over to the Facebook group. I will link it in the description below and share what you've painted. Whether you are painting with my palette or you're just taking the lesson and using something of your own, please do come and share. And I cannot wait to see what you guys come up with. As one final little tip, I often will remove color, and that is so that I can enhance a certain area of a painting. So what I'm doing here is I'm drying and removing a little bit of the color where I want to put a stem back in. Now, if your color of the stem is darker than your background color, you don't have to remove color because you just have to let it dry. But because we're working in very, very light shades, you want to kind of dry it back and remove as much color from the area as you can so that you can have that division. And you'll notice that when I do hit that area, you can see the color pop up. I did use a little more blue in the tone also to make it kind of stand out just a bit. All right, it's your turn. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. I hope you guys are enjoying the palette and the watercolor. As always, I thank you so much for all of the wonderful support you've had throughout the years with Jack's Watercolor. I love making the paint for you and sharing the kind of paint that I paint with. I think it is such a joy to receive, and I wish that I had something like this when I was just getting started because I was pretty lost. I remember it was really hard finding the right colors, that's for sure, and always having that inspiring new palette to paint with. You guys have a wonderful day, and I can't wait to see what we paint next together.